Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with a review of a Spanish found footage horror film from 2007, and tonight's movie is Wreck. This movie has to do with a reporter who goes into an apartment building after, the place has been like quarantined off, and they find like zombies, I think. I guess that's what it's supposed to be. This is the movie that was remade in America as Quarantine, and Quarantine was pretty terrible, so let's hope Wreck is far better. Let's watch. Well, that was Wreck. I kind of hate myself for not watching this movie sooner. So, yeah. Let me just... Okay. So, first of all, I gotta mention, I got the plot to the movie wrong. The plot is actually about a show called While You're Asleep, and the reporter kind of just tells you about an occupation of a person who works like 24/7, or at least works at night. So I assume it's probably like people that drive like the street cleaning trucks, because nobody ever sees those. Those things are like the unicorns of like just seeing shit at night. I don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah. And the episode that they're recording is about the fire department. And the fire department gets dispatched to an apartment building where an old lady has been like stuck in her apartment. Like, people heard screams and they think there may be something wrong. And really all hell breaks loose in this movie once the old lady attacks an officer and bites him, and then everybody in the building all realize that they've been quarantined inside the building and that they're not going to get out. Now this movie's pretty notable because I've seen this movie on a lot of like lists of like the scariest movies ever made, and I'm not gonna lie, this movie genuinely scared me. Allow me to explain. This movie does have jump scares, alright? It does, and that's not what makes it scary. I'm going to compare it to another film. George A. Romero's The Crazies. The Crazies is basically... it's very similar to Wreck. It's about like some kind of virus or biological weapon breaking out and people getting infected, and it's basically about mass hysteria and just like crowd control and how it feels to be like in this kind of situation. Now, when I say recently, I mean like the other night I watched The Crazies for the first time after having only seen the original, and I liked The Crazies, and I thought it was pretty good at kind of portraying this kind of mass hysteria. Now that I've seen Wreck blows The Crazies out of the water when it comes to displaying this kind of mass hysteria. But in this one, it's not really mass hysteria, it's more like hysteria, and really, I'll be honest, it doesn't get actually full on like scary for me, at least for me, honestly, until about 40 minutes in. Although building up, it's still pretty creepy building up. So what makes this movie scary for me, honestly, is just the idea of being locked, of being just sealed within a building with a bunch of people, and knowing that you're sealed in there because someone has some kind of disease that is contagious and could kill you. That's a horrifying thought. Like, on my list of ways I don't want to die, like, being trapped in a quarantine and dying within the quarantine is one of the ways I do not want to die. It's probably not going to happen. I highly doubt it's just going to happen. But it could. And that's kind of scary to me, honestly. There's also I also have this thing with, I wouldn't say I'm claustrophobic. I'm fine with, small spaces and stuff. I can be on crowded buses or whatever, and I don't get anxiety. I don't freak out or anything, but I still Like if I was quarantined in like a bigger area, like if I was quarantined within a mall, I mean, I would still be freaking out. I'd still be scared, but I wouldn't be as scared because it's not in such a small place. And this one is in an apartment building that isn't really that big, and so that makes the film a bit more claustrophobic, which really adds a nice touch to the film. What makes this film even more, just terrifying, absolutely terrifying, honestly, is the performances from the actors. The performances in this movie are amazing. The acting is really amazing, and, this is a found footage film. It's supposed to feel real, and it definitely feels real at times with how the characters act. And the characters really don't feel like characters, they feel just more like real people. While they aren't, the most complex characters, they still genuinely feel like real people. And that is really cool. The writing in this film is really good. It's realistic. It's, it just gives it that nice, creepy, realistic edge. It's a very high tension, high anxiety kind of film, honestly. I mean, it doesn't get really high tension until, again, 40 minutes in. But the build-up is very, very good. Let's see, effects. The effects in this movie, makeup effects are great. Gore and blood effects are great. I didn't notice any CGI effects. If there was some, then those were really good as well. The lighting and camera work. Okay, I'm going to say this right now. It's a found footage film. But I'll be honest, overall the lighting and camera work is pretty good. But it is a found footage film, so for those of you who do not like shaky cam, do not watch the film. That's kind of an obvious thing here. Because I know that found footage films have become such a big kind of like overdone genre within the past just few years because of the mainstream horror community, just because of mainstream horror. Found footage films it's just like, oh, another found footage film. Even if it's one that came out like years ago, it still just feels like, oh, another found footage film. But I mean, I gotta be honest, this movie's really original as well. Not extremely original because it's kind of about zombies, but I wouldn't say it's full-on about zombies. I'd say it's more like the Crazies in the sense that it's not zombies, it's just like some kind of disease that makes people go crazy, and they're not trying to full-on eat people. They're just trying to infect more people. So there's that. Damn, I'm drawing a blank. Oh yeah. Another thing is, as far as I know, there's no other film just on Earth, other than Quarantine, which is complete shit, other than Quarantine, which is terrible, that is about people being trapped in an apartment building while being quarantined inside an apartment building and just kind of being stuck there. And that's a really good idea for just a film in general. I'm pretty sure there's a comedy film. There's even like a comedy film about this. I don't remember what it's called. I think there's a comedy film about this. But I know there's a horror film about this because I just watched the horror film about this. And that is a really good idea for a horror film. The lack of music is really nice in this movie because, it's a found footage film. The lack of music really, really adds to the fear and tension and atmosphere in the movie. Not overall. I gotta talk about the gore first. On the gore meter from 1 to 10, 1 being something like Nosferatu, and 10 being something like Brain Dead, Wreck is probably a 4. It's not ultra gory, so if you're looking for a really gory zombie movie, or looking for a really gory found footage film, go watch something like Cannibal Holocaust. That's definitely a really gory, violent movie. But yeah, it's probably about a 4 for me, honestly. Maybe even a 3. I don't know. But I still really liked it, and I definitely give it a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, full-on recommendation, just to anybody that thinks, found footage is an overdone genre, or anybody that just thinks there's no good modern horror films. I definitely suggest this to those kinds of people. I know I had something else to say, too. Don't you hate it when that happens? Yeah. So anyway, guys, if you liked the video, like my channel, be sure to like this video, favorite it, whatever you want, and maybe subscribe perhaps. I would really, really appreciate that. And check the links in the description below. There are links to things like my Tumblr, Twitter, all that, Facebook. All that is in the description below, as well as Rotten Cotton t-shirts, where I get my horror film t-shirts like this I Drink Your Blood t-shirt I'm wearing right now. This is available on their site for like 15 bucks. It's a pretty good deal if you buy like 6 or 7 shirts, and you get it. And if they're like under 20 bucks, you can buy them all together as a package, and you get it for like 70 bucks. And it's a really, really good deal. It's where I get my horror film t-shirts. And be sure to check out my friend Chloe, her cosplay and makeup tutorial channel. It is in the description. She always does something really interesting, really cool. And I guess that's it. I'm signing off. You guys have a good day, good night, good whatever. Peace.